Hi guys, Matt V's Movies back for another video, and this is the start of a new series of reviews where we're going to be looking at 3D films. So I've got quite a few 3D films in the collection, and I do have a projector which can do 3D and 4K, and yeah, I've decided it'd be a good opportunity, I think, to sort of go into some of these 3D films and give you my thoughts on what I think about the film in 3D. I've mentioned about the sound as well, and just my thoughts on the film. So, like the thumbnail says, the first film we're going to look at is The Need for Speed in 3D. Now, I've not seen this film yet. I have heard that the soundtrack on this is absolutely fantastic. One of the reasons I picked up the film, I do enjoy sort of car films, car chases, and I do think this is based on a video game, if I'm not mistaken. But I'll show you the tech specs on the back there, and yeah, when we come back, I'll tell you my thoughts on what this sounds like and what it more importantly looks like in 3D. Framed for a crime he didn't commit, street racer Toby Marshall, played by Aaron Paul of Breaking Bad fame, joins an adrenaline-charged cross-country supercar race with only one thing on his mind: revenge. When Toby's main rival, Dino, played by Dominic Cooper from The Devil's Double, learns that his plan to compete, he places a bounty on his head for anyone who stops him from reaching California. With Toby's reputation on the line and his life is in danger, the race is on. Inspired by one of the most successful racing game franchises of all time, and full explosive action and exhilarating stunts, Need for Speed breaks all the limits. We'll just look at the packaging on this release. You've got the GT Shelby Mustang there. You've got the character of Toby and the red car, which is driven by Dominic Cooper, the start of the film. A little quote there from the Daily Mirror: a high-octane epic, and Need for Speed 3D. I do believe you can buy a 2D version of this as well, but this does contain both the 3D and the 2D disc. There's your tech specs. So it's an English 5.1 DTS master audio mix and upscaled to Neural X. This is great. You've got some real great surround effects on this. Not really any height on this one, but yeah, certainly some great surround sound effects of the helicopters and the cars racing by. It's a 16:9 aspect ratio, or 240:1. And like I say, the running time is 130 minutes long, just over 2 hours. And there's also a wealth of special features there, and I'll try and zoom in so you can see. Haven't checked those out there, but there are some deleted scenes. Yeah, I'll probably check those out at some point. Just open it up quickly, and you've got the 3D disc there with that same artwork that's on the front of the cover. And then you've also got the 2D Blu-ray disc, if it focuses, and slightly different image with some of the characters that are in the film. Need for Speed is a 2014 production and a 12 certificate in the UK. It's an action stroke crime genre, and it runs for 2 hours and 10 minutes. Now, I went into this film not really expecting much. I didn't realise actually there was sort of a few famous people in this film. I'm not familiar with Breaking Bad. It's not a series that I've watched, but the main lead, Aaron Paul, is from that series, so many of you will have known of him. Dominic Cooper I am aware of, and he was in Devil's Double. Surprisingly, Rami Malek was in this film, obviously from the Bohemian Rhapsody fame, playing Freddie Mercury, and He was in No Time to Die as a Bond villain. Dakota Johnson, again, didn't realise that she was in this film, but again, Don Johnson's daughter, and she's sort of carving her own career out. Sadly, with the film of Madam Web, which wasn't great, but she was in the 50 Shades trilogy, and she's in various other projects as well. And then the real surprise for me was seeing Michael Keaton. He kind of plays almost like a DJ, sort of the guy behind setting up the races. He's kind of just situated in a studio, surrounded by screens, and talking to the various drivers, doing a commentary, this kind of thing. But it was nice to see him in the role within this film as well. Like I say, I wasn't expecting much from this film, but actually I thoroughly enjoyed it. I know it's based on a game franchise. I do believe Need for Speed was sort of a PlayStation title. I think it was Electronic Arts, maybe, that I can't remember. I'm not a big gamer, but yeah, I kind of went into this sort of not expecting very much. And I was pleasantly surprised. Don't get me wrong, it's nothing sort of like Oscar worthy or anything like that. It's just popcorn fun. Some of the racing in this car is absolutely fantastic. I do like sort of cars. Always like the sort of Top Gear and Grand Tour series, talking about cars. So I've always sort of admired the sort of high speed vehicles. And you get to see the wonderful Shelby in this, GT Shelby Mustang. It's absolutely a fantastic car. And some of the driving in this movie is absolutely fantastic. I believe it was all done, without the aid of CGI. Possibly sort of one of the rarer examples of films where CGI isn't used. And there was a lot of practical effects in this film. I'll just give you a little bit of trivia before we move on to the 3D review, which is, guess why you're mainly here for that review. The majority of the car stunts in the film were done practically using car shells, with hardly any visual effects used. The body shell for the Koenigsegg, a 4.6 million supercar, cost roughly $300,000. Executive producer Steven Spielberg was binge-watching Breaking Bad and decided, along with the director Scott Way, that Aaron Paul shouldn't play the villain, but the lead instead. And finally, the police helicopters seen numerous times are actually the helicopters used for aerial shots, with the camera rig removed in post-production. This did not only end up being cheaper than renting 2 helicopters, but also made storing the helicopters on the ground easier, an important point in commonly used rural locations. Okay, so on to my review of the 3D in this film. Absolutely fantastic 3D in my opinion. There was some great sort of depth to this, even some pop-out moments. The use of 3D when cars are driving down the freeways is absolutely fantastic. There's actually one scene which sticks out in my mind, which is pretty much the technique that was used on Jaws, if you remember the scene where Brody is sort of sat on the beach and the camera zooms in. Well, his head stays stationary and the camera behind zooms in. It's a very clever effect of sort of perspective, and this is used in a particular scene in this film where the car is travelling down the highway, and sort of the surround scenery sort of zooms in. It's absolutely fantastic and very, very clever use of 3D. There are some car crashes in this film, and you get to see like some pop outs sort of with glass sort of coming out of the screen. There's some amazing sort of stunts in this movie, with a lot of 2 or 3 car crashes to my memory. all done practically, apparently, with few visual effects being done. There's some helicopter scenes with this film as well. There's one of the guys on the team. He is very much sort of in the air in a helicopter and a Cessna plane, and the use of 3D there as well is absolutely fantastic. You're getting aerial shots, great sense of depth with those aerial shots. And there's a scene towards the end of the film where there's actually an army helicopter which is used to take the GT Shelby across some canyons. And there's one particular shot where the Shelby is sort of suspended in midair, and the two passengers actually look through the windscreen, and you almost get a sense of vertigo. It reminded me of the film The Walk, and again, I'll be reviewing that in a future video. But again, that's very much based on a true story, where a guy is traversing the two twin towers, and you get a lot of him looking down on the building, and it's that very much sense of depth of view. It's absolutely fantastic in this film. I was really impressed with the 3D shots that I saw. Often I find with a lot of 3D films, when you first put the 3D film on, you very much get a sense of depth, but then your eyes adjust to it as the film progresses, and at times you sort of find yourself sort of removing the glasses to make sure you're still seeing it in 3D. With this film, I didn't feel that at all. There's so much going on with the film, so much depth within it. There's a great scene as well towards the end of the film with Aaron Paul and Dakota Johnson when they're standing on a bridge, and behind Dakota you can see sort of the street and cars behind her and all the street lights. There's a great sense of depth there as well, which is very impressive. And I thoroughly enjoyed this film. Like I say, it's not going to win any Oscars. It's a fun popcorn film, not to be taken too seriously. Not a huge amount of story to it. It's just a sort of film about racing cars. There is a death in it, and sort of Aaron Paul's character Toby, he's committed for a crime he didn't commit, but it all turns out well in the end. But yeah, if you're looking for a fun popcorn film to put on for a couple of hours, leave your brain at the door. If you really enjoy fast cars, action, I think you're going to enjoy this. And like I say, the 3D presentation, in my opinion, I would give this 5 stars. So that's the end of the review. If you've enjoyed this 3D review, then keep your eye on the channel. There's going to be more 3D review films coming up throughout the year. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. Click the subscribe button down below. Come and join the channel. As I say, this is going to be a new series of 3D reviews, and I'm going to create a 3D playlist for all you 3D enthusiasts. So yeah, be sure to keep notified. Click the bell notification so you'll know when new 3D reviews are going to be coming up. Please give the video a thumbs up. That really does help out the channel, and it tells YouTube that you like these sorts of 3D reviews, and that encourages me to create more content for you to enjoy. Why not leave a comment down below? What did you think of this 3D review? I'd be interested to hear your thoughts. And thanks ever so much for watching the video. Take care and see you next time. Bye now.